Hello. Welcome to my channel, and for my subscribers, welcome back. Today we will be making the crispiest, juiciest, most tender fried chicken you've ever had. Normally I don't do voiceovers, but I said this is one of those dishes where a voiceover is absolutely necessary. Let me know in the comments if you want me to continue to do voiceovers. And those are the ingredients I'm using on the screen. So first we're going to crack 2 small eggs into the bowl. And then what we're going to do with the eggs is beat them. And we're going to beat them lightly for about 15 seconds. This will make it easier to incorporate the eggs into the flour, which we're going to do shortly. Alright, so I'm going to bring over my large bowl. And into the large bowl, what I'm going to do now is add 1 cup of all-purpose flour. We're going to stir it around a bit to break it down. And now I'm going to add my seasonings. You'll see the measurements and the seasonings I'm using on the screen. And then once those are added, we're going to stir the seasonings into the flour until they're all combined. Now this would be controversial, but I do wash my chicken. I know what the FDA says about not washing chicken because you risk spreading salmonella across your sink, and I know that the bacteria will be killed when you cook the chicken. My purpose for cleaning the chicken is to get rid of any bone fragments, any feathers, any of that yellow phlegm, any dirt or blood that accumulated on the chicken. And what I do after the fact is I clean the sink with bleach to eliminate any germs or bacteria that may have accumulated. That's what I do personally. If you still choose not to wash your chicken, no judgment here. That's your prerogative. So as you might have seen, I just added 2 cups of buttermilk to the flour mixture, and I also added the beaten eggs, and I'm stirring that all together, and this is to form the wet batter I'm going to be using. So now what I'm doing is adding the chicken pieces to the wet batter. And if you notice, I do have on gloves. This can get quite messy, as you can see, so I would recommend that you wear gloves as well, but it's not required. I mean, if you use your hands, it won't hurt anything. And you're going to really massage that chicken into the batter real good, and this is to ensure that the chicken is well coated with the batter. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to cover the wet batter with the plastic wrap or foil. I say a bowl, that's a typo, it should say foil. And we're going to sit it overnight in the refrigerator. Now I'm using a 2-gallon storage bag. I'm going to add 4 cups of all-purpose flour to it. And I'm also going to add 1/4 cup of cornstarch, as well as 2 tablespoons of baking powder. And then in addition, I'm also going to add the same seasonings that I added to my wet batter to the flour for the dry batter as well. And you're going to see the same measurements on the screen right now. Now I know you're probably thinking, that's an awful lot of salt. It really isn't. So the thing with chicken is that chicken is a lean meat, so it doesn't have a ton of fat compared to, say, pork chops or even steak. So when you're seasoning it, all of that seasoning doesn't absorb as well into the chicken when you cook it. So that's why with chicken, more seasoning is better than less. And I trust me when I say the amount of seasoning I'm adding to both the wet batter and the flour, it'll be well worth it once you try this recipe. And I just shook it up vigorously to combine the seasonings into the flour, and that's how your flour should be looking. Just like that. So what we're going to do is uncover the chicken. We've taken it out of the refrigerator. And then before we do anything else, what we're going to do is give that chicken one last good massage. Again, this is to ensure that it's well coated with the batter. And I'm using gloves again, you notice. That's how the chicken should look coming out of the wet batter. We're going to put that chicken into the bag with the dry batter. Gonna put that last piece of chicken in there. There we go. Gonna zip that up, and then we're gonna shake it until we get that chicken well coated. Now, if you want to channel the grandmas from back in the day and use that brown paper bag, by all means, dump that chicken and flour into the bag and shake to your heart's content. It won't hurt anything. So what you're seeing now is I'm placing the chicken, look how well coated it is, onto a rack. And we're only placing it on the rack so the chicken can rest. And we're going to let it rest for anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. If anything, I would say the longer the better, because that allows the flour to adhere to the chicken. And while we're doing that, we're going to begin to heat up our oil next. I'm using peanut oil, and I would say any oil with a high smoke point, so it can be canola oil, corn oil, any high smoke point oil would work for the chicken. I chose to use an electric skillet for this. This was just my choice. You can use a cast iron skillet or a non-stick pan on the stove. And we're going to warm up the grease at 375 degrees. The reason why we're choosing 375 is because once you add the chicken to the oil, the temperature will drop about 25 to 50 degrees. And this will also ensure that you get that crispy crust once the chicken is done, because if you cook the chicken down on a temperature too low, it'll end up soggy and greasy. So now what you're seeing is that I'm carefully laying the chicken into the hot grease. And it's important that you make sure the chicken is spread out so that it has plenty of room to breathe while it's frying. Otherwise, it'll be harder for the breading to remain adhered to the chicken. All right, so now we're going to give the chicken a flip. We let it cook on one side for 6 to 8 minutes. And woo, look at that crust. It looks so crispy. I mean, you can just see the crunchiness with your eyes. And I know you can smell how good that chicken is through the screen. I mean, it's just beautiful when you look at it. So we're going to just flip those thighs over there now. Okay, that's one thigh. And we're going to do the other thigh now. This other thigh just don't want to flip. There we go. So we're going to let the chicken cook on the other side for an additional 6 to 8 minutes. And now we're going to remove the chicken from the grease. And oh my goodness, that is just so pretty. And look at that wing there. Just an image perfection. Same with that thigh. What is it that Minnie says?
Minnie don't burn chicken.
That's right, Minnie. So I'm going to rest the chicken on a cooling rack and just listen to that. Just listen to that crispiness. Now, unfortunately, my cat decided to help himself to my chicken. I accidentally left it out and fell asleep. And needless to say, I'm debating on putting him out because I had to throw away all of that chicken except one piece I ate for dinner yesterday. So if you see a black and white cat walking up the street with a satchel on its back, you know why. And thank you guys for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.